Sour, Chapter 3, Traitor. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by me, Estefania. Art for the thumbnail image available at my social media, linked in the description box below. A like and a follow on there really support me and I would really appreciate it, as well as you subscribing to this channel, giving this video a thumbs up, or leaving a comment. I highly recommend reading or listening to the previous 2 chapters already available on this channel, since if you don't, this chapter will probably not make sense. So, please enjoy Chapter 3 of Sour, Traitor. So, how have you been? Said Marinette, while trying to swallow down the tears that were threatening to escape her eyes. She wouldn't let them. She wouldn't show any sign of weakness or sadness in front of the cause of it, in front of her ex, more importantly. It was still awkward. It had only been 2 weeks since they broke up, so it was bound to be. Pretty good? There was some hesitation and had a slightly questioning intonation, as if he wasn't sure if to tell the truth of how he felt or not. His statement couldn't be further from the truth. The blonde was actually begging in his whole head for this to only be a nightmare and that he and Marinette were still together. But it wasn't a nightmare. It did feel like one, but he wasn't asleep. It was a living nightmare. He wished he could explain everything to her, and that maybe in a couple of years they could get back together. Ugh, who am I kidding? In a couple of years she'll be happily in another relationship. She won't want to date me. She can practically literally get any guy she wants. Why would she wait for me? The guy that couldn't even stand up to his father, even as an adult, and let the man manipulate and plan out his whole life. The group of friends remained in an awkward silence for a couple of minutes before Alya and Marinette engaged in their own conversation, as well as Adrien and Nino. A few more minutes passed and everything had been fairly peaceful with their hangout at the park. Sure, there were a few awkward moments between Adrien and Marinette, but it was bound to be that way. But what came, more like who came after about 15 minutes, made Marinette's breath hitch. Kagami. Boy, did she have mixed feelings about her. On the one hand, Kagami hadn't done anything bad to her, so she didn't really have a reason to be mad at the other brunette. Actually, no. Her anger wasn't directed at Kagami, but at Adrien. Kagami had nothing to do with her anger. She just happened to be the catalyst because it was Adrien's actions that made her mad once Kagami showed up. He was basically showing her off as if she was a new trophy he had acquired right after breaking up with Marinette. And she felt if he was doing this just to make her feel bad, not good enough for him. Meanwhile, Kagami was. Hey guys, she heard Kagami say as she went up to Adrien and gave him a quick pet on the cheek. Adrien wrapped an arm around as he spoke. Guys, I invited Kagami as she is my girlfriend. The slightest bit of hesitation in his voice, not that anyone noticed. I hope you don't mind. Not at all. Although Alya pressed on a smile, Marinette could hear her talking through gritted teeth. Why don't we all go for ice cream? Suggested Nino, after there had been a small awkward silence. Sure. Sounds good. Actually, guys, I think I'm gonna head home. I just remembered I have a few things to do. Oh, okay. Has she just seen Adrien's shoulders slump? Probably not. She most likely just imagined it. Alright, girl. Text me later. Of course, Alls. Marinette started walking towards the bakery. Her anger and resentment were too much, and she simply didn't feel like bottling up her emotions and pretending she was fine in front of her ex. Her ex that had already got himself a new girlfriend when they had only broken up 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. But she knew her emotions would be put to good use as soon as she picked up her pen and opened her notebook, starting to write the most relevant hints in her mind. Now you bring her around just to shut me down, show her off like she's a new trophy. It took you 2 weeks to go off and date her. Marinette felt betrayed. She had heard him claim time and time again that she was the lady of his dreams, that he loved her, that she was the most beautiful person he'd ever seen. She should have known. She should have known that their relationship was too good to be true, that he would leave her the moment he realized some other girl was better than her. And deep down, she did. She just hadn't wanted to accept it. Feeling as if she never spoke about it out loud, it would never be the reality. But now it was. She had known the moment he flirted with her civilian self-as cat while still pursuing Ladybug. I played dumb, but I always knew. She always knew that Adrien had been interested in Kagami. After all, when she was 14 he had gone up to her and asked for advice on how to ask out Kagami, but she thought those feelings were long gone. Apparently they weren't, because now he was dating her. She knew they had remained friends even while they were dating, and she didn't mind. Kagami was an amazing person, but she didn't think it would lead to them breaking up and then him dating Kagami. You talked to her when we were together. She felt like there was a certain humor to the situation. Or maybe that was just her, trying to make herself feel better by coping with humor. But she always knew deep down that something like this would happen. But she didn't expect it to happen so soon, especially after knowing he was Cat Noir. It was almost as if he ran to Kagami the second he could. Ain't it funny how you ran to her the second that we called it quits? Adrien had always said him and Kagami were friends, and she believed him. There was no reason she wouldn't. They were fencing partners, and it was only a matter of time before they became friends. What she didn't expect was for him to break up with her just to go and date Kagami. Ain't it funny how you said you were friends? Now sure as hell don't look like it. She really felt betrayed, and by how he was acting when Kagami arrived, it was clear he didn't feel either guilty or sorry. Meanwhile, she was left to hurt alone while he enjoyed his new girlfriend after only 2 weeks of breaking up. You betrayed me, and I know that you'll never feel sorry for the way I hurt. Loved him unconditionally at his worst, like when he was being reckless and put everyone in danger, or when he came to her balcony sobbing and choking out irrational thoughts. But it didn't matter. Even if she loved him no matter what, he still broke up with her. Loved you at your worst, but that didn't matter. The brunette hadn't even realized she had started crying. She had been so focused on the lyrics and expressing all her emotions into a song that her tears went unnoticed, but she let them flow. There was no point in stopping them. She started humming a melody, and she liked it, so she took out her phone, opened the voice recording app, and started humming it again as her phone recorded the sound. Once she established the melody, she tried to put it together with the lyrics she had written down previously. Marinette? What's up, Tiggy? Said the bluebell-eyed, wiping away her tears. Are you okay? I mean, am I heartbroken? Yes, but at the same time I feel great. The red Kwame went up to her owner's cheek and hugged her. Tiki cared a lot about Marinette, and it really hurt not being able to tell her the truth when she saw her like this. Marinette decided to take a break from songwriting for the rest of the day, since she had been putting a lot of her time and energy into it. Barely a minute passed when she decided to take a break when her mother called her to come down for dinner. It was 6:30 p.m. and she enjoyed her time with her mother and father until 7:30 as they ate dinner and engaged in an easy conversation. After she was done with her dinner and helping her mom with the dishes, the brunette remembered that she had to finish 2 chapters of a book Miss Bustier had assigned, so she worked on that. And when she finished, she worked on her physics homework. By the time she was done with everything she needed to finish, it was 9 p.m., so she decided to take a shower and start getting ready for bed. She finished showering, she brushed her teeth, and got into bed. The bluebell-eyed then unlocked her phone and opened Twitter. Oh God, why? The first thing that popped up when she refreshed her timeline were quote retweets, and the original, to which they all led back to, of Adrien confirming he and Kagami were dating and were happily together. Of course the brunette already knew they were a couple, having told them while the group was hanging out, but she didn't expect them to make it public so quickly, considering when they were a couple they waited a few weeks before announcing it publicly. Something's off. It wouldn't be like Adrien to announce it basically the second they started dating. Well, I also thought it wouldn't be like Adrien to break up with me and start dating another girl 2 weeks later. I'm probably overthinking. She continued scrolling for a bit until she was sleepy enough to go to sleep. The next few days went by, and her sadness was slowly turning into pure anger towards Adrien. She was extremely mad at him. Did everything he used to tell me all over the years mean nothing to him? He was a traitor, making her believe he genuinely loved her. If all he had said was true, all the love declarations saying she was the lady of his dreams, all the sappy nicknames, just how did he fall in love with someone else so quickly? It would have had to be while they were still dating. After all, Kagami and him did hang out. Maybe he got feelings during that time. Thinking of how he most likely fell in love with another girl while they were dating made her blood boil. How could he? Just state he loved her and wanted to spend his life with her while he was falling in love with someone else. Ugh, this would be great material for the song, but I don't have my notebook. But then she remembers something else that would work. But I do have my phone. She then quickly unlocked her phone, clicked on the voice recording app, and started recording. The Marinette didn't have set lyrics that she wanted to record. She had the feelings, so she improvised the words. Just saying anything that came out. She could just write down what she liked when she got her hands on her notebook. She followed the rhythm she had started creating a few days prior and added the lyrics to that. I know if you were true, there's no possible way that you could fall for somebody that quickly. She said the following verse a little quieter to give more depth to the song. She also didn't sing it. She wanted it to sound like she was talking to herself. Which she was, but she was singing the rest of it. This was actually talking. Just how did you fall for her so quickly? She paused for about 10 seconds trying to think about what to say next, before the right words popped into her head, and she continued. You gave me a word, but that didn't matter. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. Wait, who said that? The brunette turned around to see Alya standing a few feet away. She had been sitting on the bench in school far away enough that she thought no one would hear her while she was singing. Alya? Said Marinette as she stopped the voice recording. Hey Mari, what are you doing here? Weren't you having lunch with Nino? Well, yeah, but I saw you here and came to get you since class is starting soon. But then, wait, class is starting, let's go! Alya approached her best friend and set a hand on the brunette while she was freaking out. Calm down, we still have 3 minutes, and the classroom's just down the hall. Oh, okay. What I wanted to say before you started freaking out was that I heard you were singing, and when I paid attention to what you were saying, I realized you were writing your song about Adrien. Oh, okay. And when you seemed to be at kind of a loss of words, at the end I thought I would give my best friend a little help, so I sang that line. Thanks, Alya. I actually really liked it, but I hadn't really processed it since you kind of took me by surprise. You're welcome, and I'm glad you liked it. I figured you were improvising, so I took the context of what you were saying and some improv myself. Well, I liked it a lot. I'll actually probably use it, but now we should get to class. You're right, let's go. When Marinette got home after school, she set her book back down and decided to work on the history homework that was due the next day. Let's just get this over with. She turned her computer on and took out the questionnaire the teacher had assigned for homework. They had been studying about the French Revolution, and now they were looking into Napoleon Bonaparte more. So the teacher had left some questions about the topic. The questionnaire was 25 questions long, so it wasn't exactly short, but it was also not too long, though it would take her a while to complete since some of the questions needed longer answers. When she was done with all her homework, she decided to transfer the lyrics she had in the audio to her notebook. She started playing the audio after she opened her notebook on a blank page. She paused it after hearing the first sentence so she could write it down. I know if you were true, there's no possible way that you could fall for somebody that quickly. She continued repeating the action, playing a bit of the audio, pausing it, and writing it down. When she got to the part Alya had sung, the word traitor really stood out to her, and thus she decided that would be the title of the song. The brunette thought that if she had known things would end up like this, maybe she would have never gone and fallen in love with Adrien. It would have saved her so much heartache, and she really wished they had thought things through. She really wished he had thought things through, because why would he profess his love to her and do all these grand gestures to make her fall for him, just to break up with her after only a few months of their relationship? I wish that you had thought this through before I went and fell in love with you. I wish we had thought things through before we went and fell in love. That phrase became slower and quieter as she said it, a little more emotion in each word, a little more as if she was talking to herself, a little more into her own perspective. Thank you so much for listening to Chapter 3, Traitor of Sour. Part 4 is on the way. Meanwhile, you can check out previous videos on this channel, or also check out my other social media accounts where I have a lot more content. See you next time. Bye!